you enjoying Kentucky?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, I enjoyed Kentucky. I had a great time last night. At the con, of course, signing all day. We didn't stop signing all day. You know, I had fans throughout the, what, 6, 7 hours that I was there?
Yes.
Incredible, incredible.
We're glad that you made it in this weekend. We really appreciate you showing up.
There was no way I was going to miss out.
Excellent, excellent. You've got a lot of good wrestling comrades out there too, I noticed.
Oh yes, the card is stacked.
It is indeed. Boy, that'd be a heck of a night. Pretty good card.
Yeah.
So,
5-time Booker T.
Yeah.
Ric Flair. Stratus. Lita.
Big Sexy.
Big Sexy.
Yep, it's a good card.
What's up, dude?
What's up?
How is your bicep?
It's coming all right.
It's good.
Yeah, it's therapy, no surgery. Thank God. Knock on wood. Yeah. Not a full tear, partial tear, and it's still attached to my elbow, so that's good.
How long are you having to take off for it?
Possibly. I mean, I'm taking this day by day. The way I'm moving forward. This happened last Friday, and I've regained probably about 25% of my strength just in 1 week. So I want to say about a month.
Month or two. Well, we wish you a good recovery on that, so you're back in business sooner rather than later.
Thank you very much.
Good, good. Well, let's get started today. So, I guess you got started pretty young in this business, didn't you?
Yes, at the age of, well, being introduced to this sport, probably at the age of 3, 4 years old.
Was it your uncle? He was the Rey Mysterio senior, wasn't it?
That is correct. That's my mom's younger brother.
Okay, okay. I believe he was the one that trained you?
That is correct.
Okay, great, great.
He was my main, he's my sensei, you want to say it that way. But I've had many trainers throughout my growth from the age of 8 till about 16.
Great, great.
And I would take advantage a lot of Tuesdays, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays was wrestling school, and then Thursdays was like a private session in wrestling school. And a lot of the wrestlers that were gonna wrestle on Friday, the big show, that would come in from Mexico, they would come in a day early, and we'd leave the ring for them so they can train Thursday nights. And that's when I would sneak in with my uncle and get that special treatment. You know, as a kid, I wasn't really understanding what was going on. I was just stepping in the ring with very young, gifted talent, like the Negro Casas from Mexico, like Villanos, you know, and that was a blessing.
What kind of wrestlers did you, when you were growing up, you know, you were watching the main shows, the big shows, who did you really like to watch?
Believe it or not, I grew up watching Lucha Libre, Mexican wrestling, and the names that I can recall that I watched on TV was Mil Máscaras, Blue Demon, El Santo, Villanos. From the American side, I really didn't get into WWF until about the age of 14. And at that time, I was watching Saturday Night Main Event, and I was watching the Macho Man Randy Savages, the IRSs, Hogan, of course, Bret Hart, you know, and the list goes on and on. You know, all the wrestlers during that era that were characters, and they're just incredible.
Yeah, they were great. Well, I've asked you a couple of questions for you. So, do you all have some questions today?
Yeah.
You want to pick something, Mr.
Hey, when you start off, let's move from left to right.
First of all, I enjoyed your performance on the recent Royal Rumble.
Thank you.
Thank you. But my question is, to you, what was the last nail in the coffin for WCW towards its end?
Believe it or not, I've never been involved into the political world of that sport of wrestling, and we lost track of when this all was starting to go underground, and that pretty much happened with me, with losing my mask, and then we said, okay, if we're gonna be miserable, let's start our own group. That's when we started the Filthy Animals, and we were having fun, and we were having fun inside the ring and outside the ring. So we would bring that lifestyle back into the ring. Next thing you know, rumors were being spread that on that last show that we had in Panama City, that there was gonna be a big announcement. So when we found out what had happened, we just thought that everything combined together, the not being able to take advantage of the talent that WCW had at the time and not making the best out of it, I think that was just, it was just escalated, you know, day after day, month after month, year after year. I can hear you. Speak up, loud.
How did you feel about your Royal Rumble return?
Let me ask you, how did you feel watching me on TV? Yeah? So if I had to ask you, would you like to see me to come back to WWE?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. I felt great. I felt probably a lot more than what I thought I would feel. A lot of excitement and have you ever been excited for something?
Yep.
For what?
Well, I have been excited for WrestleMania.
For WrestleMania, but like anything, like maybe Christmas and you know that there's a big box and you might know what's in there and you're really excited and you're opening it up, then it ends up being what you thought it was? Yeah? Well, I felt 10 times that feeling. It just felt incredible because the fans kept on cheering and cheering, and as I was doing my moves inside the ring, I couldn't stop hearing the fans, and they just electrified the moment, and they made me feel really good. So I think I might come back to WWE.
And your energy just keeps going and going and going, and you're just ready to explode. You feel so good about it.
It's just an amazing feeling. I know a lot of wrestlers have spoken about that, and there's no better adrenaline rush or high than that of the fans. And I truly 100% am behind that statement.
Next question.
You could have one match with anybody in WWE right now, who would it be?
Can you at least give me an A, B, or C?
Any of the three?
Ricochet.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. I mean, I would love to.
Neville?
Neville's gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think just because of the way Ricochet and I clicked in Lucha Underground, I think I definitely would love to repeat that match, you know, in a different platform, because it's just going to be on a whole different level. So I would probably say Ricochet.
Sorry. I know you're having that one-off match with New Japan. Are you planning on doing more work with New Japan, or are you planning on actually full-on coming back to WWE?
As of right now, I know that match is scheduled for the 25th, and I did advise them about the injury, so they're aware of it, and I'm just going day by day. I told them that I would keep them updated with my report on how my progress was doing. I'm hoping that 2 weeks from now, that I'm okay and I can wrestle. So I definitely don't want to push myself. So based on that, I'm hoping that whether I end up or don't, you know, I can continue doing business with them. We surely had more dates scheduled for this year actually. So I'm hoping that we can figure something out. Worst case scenario, I know that's always been a dream of mine to compete in New Japan. So I think that will definitely happen before I retire.
Well, either way, we hope you get to heal him properly.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, there are a lot of different styles that wrestlers have learned through training. Now, when going up against a different style, is there any one that's particularly hard to work with?
I think when you're positioned in the main event or on a higher level in the card, and they're facing, I don't know, and I don't want to throw my name out there, but if you're facing, let's say, a Ric Flair, or let's say you're facing a Booker T, you know that if they're put in that position, that's because they can adapt and they can portray that style of wrestling, whether it's lucha libre, European style, American, or the strong style, stiff style, or Japanese style. You know, so, and I hope I'm answering your question correctly. You wanted to know if it's hard to adapt to that style, right?
Well, you've actually made it a little bit better of an answer for me by saying that if you're in the main card, you're able to.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I think that goes to say I'm just stating for the independent companies that are out there around the world, you know, sometimes they hire a Rey Mysterio to come wrestle for that company, whether it's in Europe or Japan, and they put me against their talent, which, you know, are obviously very well adapted to maintain a style that I can bring. So, yeah. Yeah.
So, longtime fan, Mr. Mysterio.
Thank you.
I had a couple questions. One, is there anybody on the main roster that, or who are some of your best buddies from WWE that you still maintain relationships with? That's question one. And then question two is, I've always been so fascinated by your all's life as far as just never getting a break from the travel. And I just wondered if you all ever got to do anything fun as friends on days off and that kind of thing, or is it just where you're wanting to get back to your family as quick as you can too? I don't.
We definitely had a lot of time to do that back in the day when we were traveling constantly, you know, 4 days a week. As friends, we would definitely get together and if we had time to spend, we would definitely do that. And we did a lot of that in WCW, you know, with Eddie, with Chavo, with Benoit. I remember visiting some waterfalls up in the Rockies. So, you know, we definitely made the best out of our lives while we were on the road. Because when we were back home, you know, it was just a day and a half, 2 days, and back on the road again. So we literally spent more time as family members being on the road than what we did with our own families. The people that I still stay in touch with up to date now, Shelton Benjamin, who just came back to WWE, Randy Orton, I stay in touch with him. Believe it or not, Daniel Bryan, you know, and this last time that I came back to the Rumble, I just saw a lot of new faces, but it was a lot of excitement within those new faces that it brought me excitement to be able to see how many people I can share the ring with that I haven't, like a Finn Balor, like an AJ Styles, like a Seth Rollins, you know, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. And I think there's a lot of matches there that we can give you, the fans, that you will be very entertained.
I know there was a lot of them. What was your all-time favorite match with Eddie Guerrero?
Without a doubt, the 1997 one, the Halloween Havoc in Vegas.
You've obviously had to wrestle guys that are much larger than you. Can you talk about the psychology and the storytelling that goes into working someone that's so much bigger?
Say that again, working with bigger guys?
Yeah, like what's the psychology and the storytelling that goes along with working somebody that's so much larger than you are?
It's different with each individual. You know, my psychology could be different with Kali than it can be with Big Show. You know, Big Show can move much more than Kali, and at the same time, you know, my psychology would be much different from Big Show to The Undertaker. You know, just because they're two different characters. So it all depends who you put me up against. You know, I think that's just a gift that was given to me by God, that I can be able to throw down with these big dogs, you know, and make it look good, you know, and still take a beating. Yeah, in the back, yeah.
What encouraged you to do wrestling?
What inspired me? I grew up around the sport, so I was watching wrestling as a young kid. But if you really ask me, I think it's in my blood, it's in my DNA. I think I was meant to be a wrestler. I was meant to entertain fans around the world by the man upstairs.
What was your favorite match?
My favorite match of all time? My favorite match was against Eddie Guerrero, and you probably weren't even born yet. But, okay, so it was Halloween Havoc, 1997. My son was born that year. He was only a couple months old. But if I had to pick which one has made me maintain a higher level besides that match, besides my performance, probably when I won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania.
It's a big place to win a big title.
That's definitely the spot to win the title. Yeah.
Say you had to be in a tag team for the remainder of your career, who would you hang with the whole time, working with the best?
I tell you, all of the partners that I had, the tag team partners that I had, were awesome. Anywhere from RVD to Edge to Eddie, Batista, and we all just happened to click really, really well. That I think I can get along with pretty much anyone. I wish I would have had the opportunity to tag with Benoit. I think we would have made a great team because we both like that ruthless aggression. So I just think we would have made a great tag team. I would have loved to have seen that.
What was the transition like from going to wrestling in Mexico to wrestling on an international stage?
I'll tell you, it really wasn't big because we weren't trying to change our style. We were actually bringing our style into the big stage. So we were doing everything that we were doing in Mexico, the high flying, and we were just trying to slow down. So the fans wouldn't go, whoa, what just happened there? So, and as we moved forward, we were learning. And some of my mentors for that were Eddie, or Dean Malenko, who I believe doesn't get enough credit for what he's done in this industry. Benoit, Jericho, as well. You know, they would always tell us to slow down, just let the fans react to what they see, and then go into another sequence and give them something nicer to see. So I think the transition was pretty, it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard, it was just to slow our pace down a little bit more.
You're right, Dean Malenko was fantastic to watch.
Incredible. That was the first guy that I faced in the US that I had my first feud with in WCW. I know not a lot of people know this, but nowadays, in order to get a tryout, you know, they bring you in, you perform a match when there's no fans inside the arena, and there's only a couple of the office guys watching you. And then they'll let you know if you're good enough, or they'll give you a call or whatnot. You know, that's how it works. My tryout match was a pay-per-view. And I had no idea. You know, I had no idea. Conan was the person that was able to get me into WCW. And now I'm traveling to Baltimore, and I'm wrestling this guy by the name of Dean Malenko. So I had to watch some tapes and study him and see what his style was like. That was my homework. I had to do my homework, and I nailed it down. Little did I know when I got there and I was changing, and I saw the Hogans and the the Scott Steiners walking in, and I'm surrounded by this world of just gigantic dudes, you know? Like, wow, these are the guys I grew up watching. At the time, I had to have been 19 years old, 20 years old, I'm sorry, 20 years old. And then I remember walking up the corner, I said, is this pay-per-view? This is TV? He goes, yeah, bro, you didn't know? I said, no.
Surprise!
Yes, so imagine how my nerves were that day. Great American Bash, WCW, my first pay-per-view, my first match with WCW, and it was the first match of the night. And we tore the house down.
Yeah, it's only the rest of your life. What does it matter? You know?
Yeah, I think I love working under pressure. I love performing when I get that butterfly sensation in my stomach and my nerves are just getting ready to crack, because I just want to go out there and once I hit my first move and it comes out the way I want it, the rest of the night is just a piece of cake.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you ever regret not having a heel run or anything like that?
No, I think my heel run was probably the Filthy Animals run. You know, we were just having fun, and I think that was the only time I was able to interact more with the fans, and just, you know, be who I was at the time. Yeah. Yes.
How do you develop the moves?
My mind just starts flowing at night, or during the day, or whenever it's ready. I recall this because it's happened many times. I can go to bed, the lights are off, my wife is sleeping, and I just turned off the TV, and I have a match the next day. I close my eyes and my brain is just functioning like 100 miles an hour. And okay, what if you do this? And you jump to the second and the third, and then you go outside. And so there's been times where I had to wake up and write this down, because by the next day I'll forget. So that's a good way of coming up with moves. And another one is I normally arrive at the arena. The ring is set up. I just either step in the ring or look at the ring from far away from the bleachers and envision me doing certain things. And if I think it's possible, I'll step in there, I'll simulate it one or twice, and if I think it's gonna work, and I just pull it off in the ring.
So when you're playing with those ideas and you're thinking about it, you've got something in your head, you think it's going to work, you said you go out into the stands. Do you think about how it's going to appear to the fans when they see it? Is it going to be something that's going to make them go, wow? Or is that in your thought process?
Oh, yes. Yes. I always try to think, what is bigger than the move I did the night before? So I always try to top it off. And, you know, sometimes if you see me do the springboard senton, okay, let me do the springboard 1.5 into the senton. So I always add something more to a certain move if I'm going to change it. And if it gets a good reaction, I keep it. If it doesn't, I remove it from my offense. Yep. Yeah.
You've had the pleasure of working with people across the globe, especially recently. I was wondering, what are some wrestlers that you see as like up and comers for the next generation? People that you are like, they're going to be the next big stars in the coming years.
If given the opportunity, without a doubt, Ricochet. That's my #1 guy. That's my dude. If I had to pick someone, you know, I think Finn Balor definitely has the potential to become the next star of that company. Performance-wise, Sami Zayn is just, you know, he just surprises me every time that he steps in the ring. And, you know, I think this is time for for a change in this industry, especially for WWE. You know, we need to see some of the, not even smaller statures, but just more general statures as faces of the company and carry the company. And it did kind of happen a little bit with Seth Rollins. I wish that can continue and move forward.
We've heard the locker room stories of WrestleCourt. Has there ever been an instance where you've been involved in any WrestleCourt, like, you know, how the Undertaker, you know, he was normally the judge and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, and even if there was, that stays in court. Yeah, and the fact that, yeah.
Do you play the WWE video games?
I've played it before, yes. I'm just horrible at it. I am. I've actually played my son numerous times. For a while I skipped WWE wrestling games and I moved over to FIFA. At the time I was traveling in a bus and I was still wrestling with WWE. So I had my PS2 on my bus and I was just trying to master the game. So when my son traveled with me and we went on the road together, I whooped him so many times. And he said, Dad, yes it is. He said, Dad, you've been practicing. I said, no, I haven't. I wrestled. I can't practice. Yeah.
¿En dónde fue tu debut y qué diferencia hay entre la AAA y la lucha libre de aquí? ¿Cuál te gusta más?
Mi debut fue en Tijuana, Baja California, en una iglesia. En 1989 fue mi debut. La diferencia, la lucha libre mexicana es más rápida, más aérea, la psicología, más bien no hay psicología en la lucha libre mexicana. Hay mucha continuidad con lo que pasa, donde los técnicos ganan la primera, los rudos la segunda y la tercera se definen, ya no sabes quién va a ganar. La lucha libre americana yo creo que está evolucionando ahorita, no, y también la mexicana en cuestión de movimientos y aéreo, pero yo creo que en general la lucha libre está evolucionando y está creciendo a un nivel más allá de lo que yo esperaba. Yes.
How do you feel about, say, Brock Lesnar over coming in, taking the title from Seth Rollins? Are they not ready to take that step yet? To be the face?
Is who not ready? Is like the Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins, the Roman Reigns. You have Randy Orton, you know, as a fan, 40 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
My first initial 15 minutes of Raw. After that, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I'm being able to watch 3 hours.
Yeah, of course.
Are you guys not ready to take the reins?
I don't even think it's that. I just think it's. I think, and this is just my point of view. You know, I could be wrong, and somebody else can have their point of view. I think we're in the era where it's time to cater to the fans, and if the fans want to see something, why don't you give it to them? You know, if you don't give it to them, they're gonna eventually do what they've been doing, either coming up with chants, cheers, and they're not gonna like the guy you're pushing because they want to see the other guy. So it's a very simple formula. You know, you listen to your fan base, you follow what they want, and you give it to them. Every now and then you take it away, but you give right back. You know, so you just have to cater to them. I don't think that's hard.
We've got time for one more question.
Ooh, I'm gonna let you pick it that well.
Let's see. You in the blue cap there.
Who are some of your favorite people you wrestle with in China?
Pentagon, even though I'm not supposed to say Pentagon, Penta, is definitely one of the guys. I love working with that guy. King Cuerno, I love working with him too. I love being in the ring with Phoenix and Ricochet and Dragon Azteca. I was able to do a little bit of a comeback rivalry with Chavo. John Hennigan, Johnny Mundo, or Morrison, however you guys want to call him, I think is on another level. That guy he gets better and better every single time. That's a guy who I would love to see come back to WWE, without a doubt. That's it.
Okay, I think it's time to wrap it up. Please give Mr. Rey Mysterio